Hi, I'm Caz Parker from MMH, the home of rock radio, and I'm joined once again, although it's been a while, by the fabulous Greg Hart of the amazing Cats in Space. Welcome, welcome. How you doing?
Hi there. I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, I can't believe it's been 2 years since we last spoke, but time
October,
flies.
yeah, October 21, our last interview. And I have to say, I didn't think it was that long. It really has flown by because, yeah, coming up to
Mm,
2 years. So, and then obviously,
wow.
so much has happened with your band and all of that stuff. So basically, we've got more things to talk about. So we've got together to talk about stuff that's come in.
Yeah.
I bumped into with your video man James, wasn't it? I bumped into him and he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I think you should probably do an interview again." And that's basically what kickstarted the conversation. So
Yeah.
here we are. Here we
Yeah. James is the only man that talks more than I do.
no.
Seriously. Yeah. We called him 28-to-1 ratio because he will say 28 words to everybody else's one, but he,
Oh,
he
bless
takes it all
him.
in good heart. But yeah, he can waffle. When me and him get on the phone, you might as well write off the whole afternoon.
Yeah.
It's mad. So I'm
Uh,
reining it in tonight. I'm reining it in. We're going to go for the short and punchy answers.
so you heard it here first, people. We're reining it in, and there's not going to be waffle today. So good luck for both of us with that. Anyway, the big news, the big news. We have a tour coming up, and it is the Kickstart the Sun tour. And Christ, we need a bit of Kickstart in the Sun. So it's really aptly named as it happens. I mean, I know it's obviously named after the album,
Well,
but I remember when we last caught up, we were talking about the festivals you'd done and how the sun seems to either come out for your day or certainly your slot on the festival. So you're definitely charmed. So Kickstart the Sun, and it's the tour starts September and spans right to December. So I think the world is relying on you to kickstart the sun, get rid of all this rain. So
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Is it the Indian summer they call it when it
they
comes
do when it
later on in
comes
the year?
late. Yeah, and we know
Yeah,
because
that's what we're doing.
you can pretty much guarantee that when Stone Dead Festival, where we first met, comes on, the
Yeah,
weather's usually better. It's usually dry and it's better. So July, August
yeah,
is wanky for about the last 2 years, but by then, so hopefully, yeah, by September, by the time you start touring, it's going to be
it'll
glorious.
bring the sun. Yeah, well,
People will
funny
be in
enough,
their
we did
bikinis.
we did 3 dates in July a few weeks ago, and it tipped down with rain for the first 3 dates.
Oh,
I think the Friday and the Saturday did, yeah, but we kind of did three kind of warm up dates.
were these indoor gigs
They
though?
weren't warm up. Basically, what it is, we're doing theatres this time around because we
Yeah,
did
yeah.
first part of Kickstart went out last year to in the usual places with a few theatres, but we decided we want to put together a really like go for broke production that we could take into decent sized theatres and do the same thing but a full 2 hour show. So we did three shows in July, and then we start again in September. And yeah, the sun didn't come out, but it will come out in September. But
However, if they're indoor
well, the gigs are
gigs,
indoors.
so it doesn't really
Eh?
count. So I think that's the point. We're counting on it for the if there are outdoor gigs, that's where it really counts. If it's an indoor gig, it doesn't matter whether it's raining or
Doesn't matter.
shining.
No, the theatres have got roofs on them. Luckily, the ones that we're
Exactly.
playing.
But
So that's
people
really good. Yeah,
they might not need to bring a brolly. There we go. There is that. So
don't need a brolly.
exactly. So what I have heard and what I have read, so I can see 14 dates are coming up. Fabulous venues, like you say, theatres. Now, here's what you've said about it. This is no ordinary tour. You're cramming storytelling technology into the theatre shows to make it an unforgettable show. So basically, it's not to be missed, people. But why don't you tell everybody a little bit more about it? Tell them what they can expect.
Right, in a nutshell, because I'm not had to waffle. Basically, what we've done, thanks to James Herron, our stage production guy, he's the guy that did all the Poke the Witch video, Teenage Millionaires, Million Miles. He's very, very, very talented, but his background is actually in staging back screen projection for people like Strictly and X Factor and all those kind of massive shows. So
Yeah.
he comes from a very, very big background with his old company. And he stupidly said to me last Christmas when we finished the first part of the tour, this needs to be seen this in a different way. We need to do something bigger to make the music blend with, the songs deserve more than just playing them in a club, no disrespect to clubs. I said, yeah, we've always wanted to do back screen and to put a production together and do this. And he said, I'm going to devise a way that we can do it on no money. I went, I like the sound of no money because we haven't got any. So,
Sounds good.
and
Yeah.
it is a very big task. I mean, when people see the show, they'll see that we've put together a full projection stage set, not just one part, but three pieces. It's like something you'd get in like Doctor Who almost in the 80s, you know.
Nice.
And we have rear view projection that go with the songs in the show,
Yeah.
which is a 2 hour show split into two halves. First half is Kickstart the Sun. Second half is all our other songs.
Okay.
And basically, we've got visuals to go with the music. And the first three shows we did went down incredibly well. People were blown away by what they saw. They went, how on earth does a band of, dare I say it, your size put together a production? Why isn't anybody else doing it? Because it's very, very expensive to do if you don't have the people that are stupid enough to do it for free, you know. And James has, I mean, you know, I joke a lot about it, but in all seriousness, he has been programming visuals for this show since February
Oh, wow.
and devising how the hell he's going to get it onto stage and how he's going to get people to build the set. But bless him, he did it. It's taken, it was literally being finished up until the day before the first date. And he's still working on it now. So come September, when we go out and do the next batch of dates, we got more visuals being introduced to some of the songs that didn't have it the first time round. And there's a few more lights as well. So it's a really big task to do it. But we've got some really lovely people around us that really came on board. As someone said to us at the first night, they went, the buzz in the room tonight is about camaraderie and team building.
Yeah.
And everybody was in it to win it. Even the crowd were in it to win it because they were going, Christ, I hope this doesn't go wrong for them. You know, Rob Evans came to review the second night and he said, I almost didn't enjoy it because I was so nervous for you guys. You know, I went, don't worry about that. But he said, no, he said, because I knew how much was riding on it. And I said, and he said, unbelievable. He said it was a triumph, you know. So yeah, we've put everything on the block for this because we believe that's what Cats in Space needs to be. You know, it's trying to put us up, not another level from other bands, but another level of doing stuff, a different way of looking at how you can put a rock show on our level into the entertainment world. You know, that we're not Muse, you know, we're not Ramstein, we're not Kiss, we're not Iron Maiden, but they're the shows that people will spend big bucks to go and see because it's an experience. So we're trying to bring them a champagne experience on lemonade money, as James said, you know.
But like you say, it's
and it's work.
isn't it? And it brings a point of difference, adds another level to it. And for any band, that's never going to be a bad thing to be able to kind of go, right, we've nailed this level. What can we do to take it to the next level? How can we do something that's going to excite the fans again in a different way and keep them engaged? Because ultimately, you need to keep your fan base engaged, bring them more new, exciting stuff, and then, you know, hopefully grab a few more fans as well, because words.
Exactly.
Yeah, quite right.
The trouble is, you know, I mean, I've done loads of magazine interviews about this at great length. You know, I don't want to get all doom and gloom because that's not what it's about anymore. But there is a danger in rock, the rock, you know, kind of thing that we've all got in this country, that you can get to a certain level nowadays, and very, very few bands will go above it, and they'll give up. I mean, even last week I heard a band have split because of whatever. You know, people fall off the wagon because they think this is just like, we can't go anywhere with it. And we were well aware of that from day one, thinking if we get caught up in that, we're going to become the same, because it's almost like a diminishing circle. And very few bands can get out into the next rung and make a career at it. It's really tough, let alone album sales. We know all that, you know, there's not a lot of money in it. So we just said we're going to have to force our way into going, give them something that, you know, if it doesn't work, we're finished anyway. If it does work, you kind of create a new level. You know, it's not necessarily bigger than other people, but you're creating a different way of looking at touring. And it's really important that all bands pull together, all bands support each other, all magazines support each other, all radio stations support each other. Some don't, unfortunately, but all the good ones like yourselves do.
Yeah, we try.
Without it, there ain't no business. And it's that kind of approach that we're taking with this. Is like, see what we're doing. We're not doing it to be the, Billy Big Bollocks. We're not doing it we're doing it for Cats in Space to show this could be a way forward for other bands to go, we'll have some of that, and then it will hopefully grow the business back to what it needs to be.
Yeah.
And it can happen, it can work.
Yeah, no, it's a nice way of looking at it. And like you say, you're just focused on you and what you need to do and what you're capable of doing and what you've got access to do. It, like you say, it's not about trying to outshine anybody else, but at the same time, that you do have to just think, what can we do that's different? What have we got
Yeah,
access to? How can we make it better? You've just got to focus on you and be the best you can be. And if you've got access
exactly.
to
Yeah,
tools to
be your
make it
brand.
better, yeah,
Mm,
no, it's great.
definitely.
And like you say, if it leads the way and other people follow, but they won't all be able to get it for free, that's the difficulty.
No, they won't. I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, we're very, very fortunate, but we
Yeah,
have also put an awful lot of time and effort and thought
yeah.
into this. It's not something we just suddenly thought of at
No, of
Christmas.
course.
We thought about this from day one in 2015 when we formed. We had when we was talking to your Danny Bowes and all that kind of lot when they were managing us. We all sat down very seriously and said, you guys do not fit. I don't know how or where or when you're going to fit, but you don't really fit into the usual A, B, C, D building blocks of the business. And I said, we belong in theatres. We're not jazz hands, but we do belong in theatres. And it took us till now to really build into that position where we could try it. So it's taken 6 years in a way,
Yeah,
but I'm glad we did because
yeah,
it's definitely the way forward for us,
yeah.
and a lot of theatres nowadays that have got older clientele, you know, when I first started going to theatres as a kid, it was still swinging 50s and 60s and
Mm,
stage productions. But over the years, as the age demographic has shifted, our age group are now going to theatres, and our age group like rock music from the 70s and 80s.
yeah.
So it's only natural that theatres are going to start wanting to put music into those
Mm.
places to keep our people going along to them. And that is happening. Mainly tribute at the moment, but hopefully more original rock bands can break through into that
Well, yeah.
market because it's a good market.
Well, also acoustically, you've got that it's all set up to sound fantastic acoustically. And then you've also got visually, it's set up so everyone can see, which of course is
Mm-hmm.
a bit different. There are venues where if you're not tall enough or you've got the wrong position or anything like that, you can't actually see. And then, like you say as well, for a 2 hour show with a little gap so people can go and have a wee and buy another drink, but with a 2 hour show, sitting and watching it and being able to experience the full visual impact, a theatre can provide that. Whereas standing, you are going to have people who can't see properly and are going to be in a dodgy spot. Whereas in a theatre, that's not going to happen. It's geared up for everyone to be able to see everything pretty much. So,
Exactly, it's production. It's production, yeah. Again, I said this a while ago that I went out to a gig a few months ago to see there's three bands on, so the doors were 6:30,
mm,
main band was on at 9:30, something like that, and the audience was our demographic, so
mm,
a little bit older, and there were people there by 8:30 that were really getting tired. They were desperate to see the main band, but you could see them shuffling about and getting a bit edgy and just needed to go. They needed to sit down somewhere and they couldn't. And there's people there like on sticks and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, we're not the right age to do this anymore. As much as we want to pretend we can go and stand up for 12 hours in the mud at Reading, a lot of us can't anymore. The lucky ones that are fit can, but a lot of us can't. And a lot of our fans they prefer a little bit of comfort nowadays, and they will think nothing of buying a theatre ticket. You can still stand up in the theatre; you haven't got to sit down, but you've
especially when
got
you
the
get
options, as
towards
you
the
said.
end, usually then you go,
Oh, you build
everybody
them up.
get up and
You
like you
build
get
them.
a bit of,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you build them up. Yeah, but it gives people all the options that they need for a comfortable night. It's
Yeah,
not boring. It's that is the new rock and roll. So
yeah.
it kind of works. So we're happy so far with it. It's working well for us, and it is the future, definitely for us anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully people will see this and think, I'll just go and buy a little ticket. And we'll remind them at the end where to go and get tickets from and all of that stuff. Because there are 14 dates, they're all across the country and they're over the next few months as well. So there really isn't any excuse. And it does sound like it's unmissable.
Yeah, it is.
So I
It's
don't know what
definitely honest.
I don't know what more we can say than that, Greg. I think we've done our jobs. You know, there
No,
we
me
are.
neither. It's very good value for money, and it costs you a lot less than some of these other gigs that are going on, where it's £300 to see some band mime into backing tracks.
Exactly. There you go. Or
I'll,
even not even the real
I'll cut
band.
that one
Sometimes it's an image of the band, isn't it? So, all right then. So
there.
since our last interview, obviously, it was last year you released the album, the Kickstart the Sun album, and I mean, this is lovely. The review from Classic Rock Mag said it sent Night at the Opera back home with its tail between its legs, which is a ridiculously huge compliment. So, how proud are you of the album and what it's achieved for you? Obviously, it's achieved these shows, but like, just have a little bit of a summary around that.
Yeah. Well, that quote, when that came in, I just looked, I went, oh my God, that's gold dust. You know, very rarely in your career do you get a quote like that to be able to use in all your posters, but we're
Ridiculous.
using that one. It was beautiful. It was and
Mm,
it was done in a lovely way. I mean, you know, as I've said, we're not here to compare ourselves to Queen. It's not our job to do it, you know. But if people really want to talk like that, that's fantastic. And to be honest, the album was a risk, as I've said. We didn't know whether a double album would work. It was very, very expensive to do. Were enough people going to buy it to make it worthy? And they did. You know, I mean, it went to #1 in the Indie Breakers chart. It went into the national chart of physical. It went in. It went midweek in the actual national chart, but it dropped out, as many do, unfortunately. But we went bam, 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 album of the year, left, right, and centre, and we sold a lot of copies, and it's still selling now. So again, it's like he who dares. You know, if you really believe that you can do something of that magnitude, and you really believe it could be that good, sometimes you just got to try these things. And I'd rather go down in a ball of flames and just fall off the edge, you know.
exactly.
And the whole band really embraced the fact that it was going to be a huge double album. And I said, it will break the bank. I mean, this will potentially finish us if it doesn't sell.
Mm,
And it did. It did really well. And that's why we're doing the part 2 of the theatre tour, because we didn't feel the album got the full treatment last year. We said there's more legs to this
yeah.
than what we did. Hence, we had the conversation about putting it into theatres and putting some visuals with it. And people were saying about certain songs like, you know, Kickstart the Sun, Bootleg Bandoleros, and A Big Balloon. You know, they became really big songs for a lot of people very quickly.
Mm,
So we said, we've got to keep taking this out and about. So chuffed to bits. It's the biggest accomplishment that I've personally ever done in my career, without a doubt. It's definitely the big, because it was a hard album to do as well. There's a lot of work involved in that album. It was months and months and months and months of work, but it was also the most enjoyable experience because we knew early on we had something magic there,
yeah.
and everybody put together. And I mean, Damien's vocals on it, Dean's guitar playing, Jeff's bass playing, Andy's keyboards. Man, Andy had a field day on the keyboards. You know, doesn't always get a look in, does Andy? Because you know, keyboard player, but he done some amazing stuff on the album. Stevie Bacon, as always, on the drums and designing all this amazing merchandise for the tours. You know, all that's him. You know, it's all in house,
Yeah.
and everybody just really pulled together. And we went to Rack Studios in London to record some of it,
Amazing.
which was just a dream come true, to play on the desk and in the room that did Mud and Smokey and Susie Quattro and all those hot chocolate, you know, Kim Wilde, all these songs that were done in this room, and we're
Yeah.
going, wow, you know, and it that seeps into your recordings. You know,
Yeah.
it really does. So yeah, we're chuffed to bits, absolutely. How we're going to do the next one, I do not know.
Oh, don't worry about that yet. Let's get this out of the way first. Squeeze as much life as you can
Well,
out of this one first, and the tour and everything. But yeah, you have set the bar quite high, so good luck. But you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
yeah, we've already started it anyway, and it's sounding good. So
Well, there you go. Well, I was going to say actually, I think you said to me before, there's always something to look forward to from Camp Cats. So I mean, that might be the thing. I always like to see if I can squeeze any secrets, if there's anything coming up other than the tour or anything else that you can tease people with. So there you go. That's my question. Is there anything you can tease us with that's coming up that people might not know about yet?
we got new beanie hats coming out in September for the tour, because we didn't have them done for July, and it wasn't the right weather, of course. So we got new. Our beanie hats on the last tour flew out. We'd literally run out in about 2 gigs. It was like crazy. People were like, a beanie hat. So this time we brought out about 5 colours, I think. So they're coming out in September. Um, but yeah, no, me and Stevie and Damien have already started working on songs for the next album. That's a long way off as yet, but it is sounding very confident already, which is good. In fact, I'd say we've probably got all the songs ready in some format or other, so that's good. But we're also recording all the shows on this tour for what will hopefully be a live album at the end of the tour. So that's something to look forward to as well. So we've got a lot of stuff there.
There you go. I've squeezed something out. There we go. I knew it. I mean, it doesn't sound like it was a mega secret, but the point is, people might not have heard it before, and this might be the first time they hear about it. So I feel proud. Yay.
The album, no, the new songs is an exclusive. No one knows about that. So you've got an exclusive on that.
I feel proud. See, there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Very pleased with myself for that question. All right, then. So
Good.
we have talked probably enough about the tour and the album. So I'm going to just I like to just go down a different route, ask you a few questions you don't normally get asked, because I think people always want to get to know artists better, and they want to know, stuff about you, get to know your personality a little bit better. So I chuck in a few random questions. They're not all weird. Some, I mean, there are some that could get weird, but we'll see how we do for time. But we'll start with some sensible ones first and see how we get on. So what would you say is the best gig you've ever played?
Oh God, that's a tough one. I mean, you've got the first time we did Hammersmith with Thunder was obviously a mentally important night for me and the band. Some of the guys have played it before, but I've never played it before, and it took me 37 years to get there. I used to live in Hammersmith, literally a minute from the Odeon, literally down King Street. And it's that kind of thing. I will play it. And the dream faded over the years. So to get the chance to play there with Thunder was really awesome.
Yeah.
But then in the same year, we did Hyde Park, and we also did the O2 and all these massive, great arenas. So that whole experience was the best.
Yeah.
We did the London Palladium a few years ago. That was really special. So yeah, they were probably the best gigs I've ever done, really, for that reason. From a personal point of view, a musical point of view, we've done some amazing gigs of our own, in places like the Stables in Milton Keynes, some of the theatres and the clubs around the country. They've all got their own special memories and special things. But if I was going to stick my neck on the clock, I'd probably have to say the O2 in London, because I mean that is as big as it gets.
Yeah.
Short of playing Wembley Stadium, that is as big as it gets. And I remember looking out to all those seats when it was empty, going, Christ, we're going to play here. And they were literally, because the doors are open, they're all running in to get their seats. And so we didn't play to a full house, but by the time we finished, there was probably 9,000-10,000 in there.
Yeah.
And we went down very, very well. We did very, very well at that. And that was amazing. But also, when we toured with Status Quo, Francis Rossi was just awesome. The whole band were awesome. And we just had such a laugh with them. It was just the best time. Really special moments, so very lucky. It's all been good.
So no, not one in particular then. There's probably there's many. We almost nailed it down to one.
O2. Yeah, the O2 in London, I'd have to say probably the O2.
Yeah. All right, fabulous. So, okay then, slightly more weird. Have you ever had an embarrassing moment on stage?
I've had loads. God, I've been here all night talking about my embarrassing moments. Oh God, where to start? I can remember when I was 17, we entered the TSB Rock School competition,
right?
And we did it. I was in one of the heats in Reading, in the Town Hall, I think it was. And it was in the days of very early Iron Maiden and Def Leppard, when everybody wore satin pants, not spandex, but satin.
Right.
So
okay.
they didn't stretch. And I thought, I know, I'm going to be the cheese here, and I'm going to wear white ones.
Right.
So I wore these white satin pants. Good when the guitar was in front of me, not so good when I was swinging it about.
Oh wow! So was it the fact
see-through?
It went see-through.
The trousers were see-through under the lights.
And I guess you thought, can't wear pants with white satin.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
And luckily, we did two songs, remember rightly, and they were the longest two songs of my life.
do you know what?
And we didn't win. We came second, for God's sake. We didn't even win. So that was the.
Outrageous.
And my hair was caught on fire on stage on two occasions, not one but
No.
twice. Once with a road pyro at the Limelight Club in Crewe. A road pyro went into my hair. My hair went up like Gene Simmons.
Wow.
And then the second time, someone brought a birthday cake on for me onto the stage, and they came up to me clumsy as arseholes, and I looked round. As I looked round, the something blew the candles into my hair. My hair caught on fire there as well.
Oh my God. Was
So,
that in the days
yeah,
where people had cameras on their phones all the time? So was any of it
no,
recorded? So
no,
yeah, okay.
luckily,
You got away with
it was just
that.
before.
You
Yeah,
got
just
away
before
with
that,
that.
luckily. Yeah.
All right. All right then. We talked about people who made you starstruck last time, so we won't go down that route. But do you have an embarrassing childhood crush?
An embarrassing one.
Yeah. Or do you know what? I don't know why I say embarrassing. Probably because mine was embarrassing. It's only one of my childhood crushes, but the one of them's quite amusing, and that was Wurzel Gummidge.
Oh, we can't be a bit
I mean,
John Pertwee.
I didn't really fancy him, but I did love him a little bit. So
I felt sorry for old Wurzel with his thinking head on and all that. He would twist it round like
clever
that.
head and all that. Yeah, yeah. So,
Oh, beautiful.
so
And he was
that's
always snubbed by, what's her name? Una Stubbs always gave him the
Aunt
cold shoulder.
Sally.
So I
Yeah.
felt sorry for him,
So that's
yeah,
why
yeah.
the word
I think,
embarrassing's in there. But childhood crush then, who was it?
I tell you who, actually, I was only thinking about this the other day because obviously there's all the usual ones where people go, oh yeah, Kate Bush. But no, I was 15 then, so you got to go way back. I remember I was absolutely gaga over Billy from the Double Deckers. If anyone's old enough to remember the Double Deckers out there, there was
I
there was
don't know.
Tigger, the little girl with the little Tigger toy, and Billy was the other girl. And then there was like Scooper and Donut and Spring, and the oldies out there will know that. But Billy was the girl, real tomboy, but I really thought she was it. I thought she was someone else. So I
Oh,
must have been 7,
oh,
but
that's
I really fancied Billy.
I wonder what
Not
she's
my type
doing
of
now.
Billy, but
No, I wonder what
I
she's
don't know. But I don't know what she looks like. But
it,
yeah, I'd love to see what she looks like nowadays. But yeah, that was definitely one.
we'll have to
Chris Evert was another one. Wimbledon, Chris Evert.
okay.
When she, yeah, but yeah, that's it.
I'll have to
No more.
Google him afterwards because I don't know him. All right. So now next up then in our last interview, I remember you telling me that the 90s were crazy wild times for you. And I didn't really delve into it in any depth to see what mischief you actually got up to then. But my question around
Mm.
that is, my random question is, if you got your hands on a time machine, would you go back in time and either relive some of it or make a few changes or whatever? Or would you go into the future and have a little snoop around, see what's going to occur? Which would you choose?
I don't think I'd go into the future because it frightens me too much. I'd
Mm.
go into the past and I'd re-edit it till it looked pucker.
Yeah.
I'd edit out a lot of it and get it down to a nice, concise 5 minutes.
That would never happen. But the point is, yeah, there's always a few moments. Maybe you would have steered away from the birthday candles and not set your hair on fire and the pyro. That's it. You could have moved yourself slightly to the right or the left. So that didn't happen. And you
Yeah,
definitely wouldn't have been wearing those
that was
satin
luxury.
pants.
That was luxury compared to some of the other stuff I would have swerved back in the 90s.
I feel like I want to say care to mention any of it, but I also think that's prying a
Okay,
little bit too much.
if we go back into the glam rock days of the 90s with my band Flares, we had some crazy times.
Yeah.
Crazy. I'm talking really full on brilliant times. You
Yeah.
know, between 92 and 99 was just bonkers, but we really did have a wonderful time. So yeah, we'll leave that one there.
Yeah. Go back.
Anyone that was there that saw us, they'll know.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Some of your fans might have followed you that long and they might be thinking, I remember. Uh,
Yeah, some do.
All right, then, just a couple of silly ones, and then because we haven't done would you rathers, we'll do a few of them. But silly questions. Let me have a think. Okay, so if you're a wrestler, what would be your choice of ring entrance music?
Oh, you can't say ring entrance to me. You just can't say that.
I know.
You just can't do that. It's a family show, for goodness
Yeah,
sake.
it's not a family show.
My ring entrance would be the what would it be? It'd be the Stray Cat Strut, of course.
Hey, there we go.
What I mean,
Marvelous. That'd be good.
ain't got the money to pay the rent. Yeah,
Hey,
that'd be my intro,
perfect.
definitely.
That's a good one. And yeah, I am childish enough as well to appreciate the ring humor. Yee. All right, then, if you were a superhero, what power would you want to possess and why?
Um, I think, I think my superpower would be I could change anybody's mind to
Oh,
my way of thinking.
oh, okay. That's a
The
good one.
whole world would be mine.
Basically, mind control.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like it.
definitely.
Because yeah,
I
you
would. I'd be fair about it. I'd be fair about it. I wouldn't just go all out and just make everybody do everything that I did, but I'd utilize it to my advantage to make sure I was always number one in the charts and always on the radio.
yeah. And
Yeah,
also
and things like that.
you
Yeah.
could have some fun and mischief with that as well. I mean,
Oh God, yeah.
you definitely could. You could definitely get people doing things they wouldn't have been prepared to do
I'd
otherwise.
wear a big cape as well. I'd have a big cape with like a cat head behind me, these big ears.
Yeah.
I'd go around with this big cape on,
Yeah, because
saying, "Hey, what?"
there isn't a cat man, there's a cat woman, but there's never been a cat man.
Exactly.
There should be a
Sexual
cat man.
equality.
There should
Sexual
be a cat
equality in the
man.
workplace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
when I grew up,
Man.
like when I was a child, you always thought dogs were boys and cats were girls and they'd get married. Why? I don't know, but that's just the way it is. When you're a kid, that's the way it is. That's what you
Yeah.
think. So
That's
people think
Disney.
a Catwoman,
Yeah.
there's got to be a cat
Yeah. It's
man.
Disney.
You're a cat man.
Mm.
You could have quite a
Yeah.
nice cat suit as well.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't have to be black. Not all cats are black.
I'd like a nice cat suits. Yeah. Back in the 90s, I think I might have worn a cat suit once or
Yeah,
twice.
you can have a white spandex cat suit because you've got a white cat, haven't you?
I've got yeah, Narnia's white and Teddy's all different shades of chocolate. Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, she's over there actually,
she made an
looking away from
appearance
me.
in the last interview, and my cat was here, but she didn't make an appearance. She's not with me today, though.
Oh yeah, she did, didn't she?
Downstairs.
She's only little then. Yeah.
Yeah, my little black
Yeah,
cat.
no, she's having a kip at the minute.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right then. Okay, this is a weird question. If you could be part animal, like a mermaid, which part would you have? And, and I know it's a really weird question, so I've got various examples. Like you could have an elephant's trunk, you could have bat wings, you could have duck feet to help you swim better, you could have centipede legs so you could get like places quicker. You could have parts of a donkey that men like to think they might want. But yeah,
Hung like a donkey. Yeah. No, that wouldn't bother me too much. That just
I feel
no.
like you should say cat ears now because you've said you've gone down the cat route or a cat tail.
Yeah, but it probably would have to be something like I think I'd have to be extremely agile. I think I should be able to just get my way out of anything,
So basically,
skulk out of anything.
cat-like agility.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe X-ray eyes. Maybe
no,
X-ray
come on,
eyes as
this is
well.
part animal. You can't have X-ray eyes. What animal's got X-ray eyes?
Oh, right. Oh,
We're not.
oh, that's
We're off superhero powers now.
oh, damn it. Okay. Okay. Agility. I'd have the agility of a cat.
Okay, so what are we giving you then? A cat tail and some cat legs. That's the part. So basically, bottom half cat. That should give you
Oh,
agility.
yeah. Yeah. With a big, long, furry tail.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. With those big jodhpur furry legs. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
well cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, then. I'm going to sling a few would you rathers at you because would you rathers are
Yeah.
one of my favorite things to do. So I'm going to go straight in for some weird ones. Would you rather? And if anyone watches all my interviews, they know what's coming. But we get a little bit weirder. But would you rather cry every time you have sex or burp every time someone kisses you?
Burp. I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. No,
No, you don't want
burp.
to be
Burp.
that guy, do you?
No, no, burp. Burp.
I think the
Yeah.
burping one. I think that's doable. I mean,
Yeah.
this is only imaginary, so it's fine. Would you rather
Yeah.
sweat, milk, or jam?
Milk is less sticky.
Yeah. You know what? That's my answer as well, because imagine the jam, you'd be like, oh, for God's sake.
Oh, can you imagine?
Although milk can go off, can't it? You'd
Milk
have to
will,
make sure you were
yeah, milk will
showering
go down.
regularly. I think milk's
Yeah,
probably a better option. But
milk's a bit. I think it's a bit tidier. It's
if
a
you
bit
sweat
tidier.
jam though, everyone could lick you. You could be like, have a lick of me, I'm sweating. It's really nice, honey.
That's true. Yeah, and I drink oat milk as well, so I don't really
Same.
drink milk. So it has to be oat milk anyway. So
Well, I don't know what kind of
yeah,
stuff's going to sweat out of you. I haven't really thought that through, but yeah, it might not be too
no,
great.
no.
All right, then. So prepare yourself for this one. Would you rather have ball bags for eyelids or a willy for a nose? I've got to stop laughing at my own questions.
Oh, no, you got to, haven't you? Willy for a nose. Willy
Okay,
for a nose. Yeah, got to be. Because ball bags for eyelids, you wouldn't be able to. You'd be lifting them up the whole time.
you would.
Oh no, no, that'd be horrendous.
So
No,
we're
no,
going with
I've
the
not got
willy.
time for that. Not got time for that one. Yeah.
Okay, this is probably, you think you might have been asked the weirdest question you've ever been asked so far, but this is coming. This is my favorite. Would you rather ever? I don't know why I even look at my question sheet because I know it. Would you rather have 12-inch belly button that sways to the music, and I give you a visual, or accordions for legs?
So if you had accordions for legs and you went in to do like a bank robbery and you went to make your getaway, they could hear you. Like something out of Family Guy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So that could prove tricky if you're a robber.
I mean, let's assume you're
Could
not a
also
bank
prove tricky
robber.
for driving it. Or
Yeah.
if I was driving with accordions for legs, every time I went to use the clutch, I'd be like, actually, it might be fun, actually.
What I
What was
quite
the other
like about
option?
this is that's not a bad impression of an accordion, because I try and do an impression of an accordion and I'm like, "Meh, meh, meh." I don't know what. Can't do it.
It's like strangling a mongoose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really. I'm going to go for accordion legs, especially when driving. That could be very interesting.
Because you think it'd be fun, don't you? Okay.
Yeah,
See, beyond
yeah, it could be
that,
good.
like that's I mean, I've got other would you rathers, but once I've done that one, yeah, it can't be beat. It's still the weirdest question
No,
anyone's
you
ever going to find.
can't go from there.
I love
You
it. It's
can't
my
go on from
favorite.
there.
All right, then.
No.
Finally, one sensible question before I let you go. So obviously we haven't quite covered this, but I think the things that we've covered in the interview so far, it lends itself quite nicely. So obviously everything is going marvelously well, and you've had some incredible accomplishments and achievements with previous bands, but in particular with this band. But if anything was possible and there was one thing you could say, I would absolutely love this to happen, and you can go as big, bold, and brash as you like, but what would be the dream achievement or accomplishment for Cats in Space for you?
Um, I think really just to get, if it was possible to get our music out to absolutely everybody that we know would love it, to get it onto a level where, the whole country is behind it. Because, we've always said there's millions of people out there that would love our style of music because it takes them back to a different time, It's finding them and getting to them. They're out there. So I think the dream would be to be able to reach them all, via gigs or promotion or whatever. Just all we can do is keep building and building, and hopefully more and more people will spread. So that, I think that's the dream ticket. I mean, obviously, to get to a position where we could headline Hammersmith on our own, or the O2 with, we look at our show and we always say our new show can be scaled up to a gig the size of the O2 easy. The whole thing will literally go, boom,
Yeah.
give us those big screens. We could just literally dial into it. So it would be amazing. And I've always liked the idea of kind of doing something like a guitar duel with me and Dean, where we go up these like rostrums that go up into the air or something, and and we just go above the crowd, like Paul Stanley or something. So getting the Cat show to that kind of level would be the dream ticket. And the other side issue from that is something that we keep talking about is, as crass as this may sound to some rock fans, we know that there's a potential musical, the Johnny Rocket story on Day Trip to Narnia. We know that could be fleshed out into a musical. We know it. We've talked about it. Seeing something like that in the West End as a Cats in Space production, that would have to be the dream ticket, because
Yeah,
it
boom.
could, dream big, or
Yeah.
don't dream at all.
And that's it. And that's really the question. It's like, what would be that thing? And I love that. I think that both of those answers are great answers, but I love the idea of the musical as well. Because the thing is, that could happen. I mean,
Definitely.
you could certainly turn it into a musical where, this how the scale of how big or where that was shown is a different matter. But the point is that's within the realms of possibility, which is nice to know. So
It is, with the right person behind it and the right team. Obviously, to put a sort of like together, you're talking an awful lot of money to
oh,
put the physicality of that into production. But the hard work of that is writing the bloody thing. Well,
and that's been done. Yeah.
we're 2/3 of the way there, but the actual Johnny Rocket piece is 27 minutes long without dialogue.
Yeah.
And we've already worked out we've probably got at least 6 other Cat songs from other albums that would shoehorn into the various parts of the time frame
Yeah.
of the Johnny Rocket story, and
Yeah.
they would seamlessly go in without even thinking. It wasn't subconsciously done that way, but they would fit.
Yeah.
And we could write new bits and bobs to nail it together, And Andy, obviously being the theatre guy that he is in particular, I know that's his dream to do that as well. And we said, well, if it gets to the point where, I don't know, we don't want to tour anymore, or maybe we're taking a load of time out, we might put some baby steps to that, because why not? As I
Why
said,
not?
dream big. It won't happen if you don't
Mm.
try.
No,
So
exactly.
it could be there. I mean, the Johnny Rocket character that Andy Kitson, our artist, devised, with the cardboard wings, hanging onto the lamppost in Narnia, it's such a potential iconic image. That is all you need for the promotion. That is all you need to put that onto a billboard in London. And I go, what's that? That's amazing. It's all there. So
All
dream
there.
big.
Could happen. Could happen.
Dream
And
big, people.
people, you heard it here first. If it does, I'll be taking like a minor amount of credit for that. Well, I
Of
won't be,
course.
because I
Of
didn't
course.
come up with the idea. I just asked the question. So
No, you can
uh
do that. You can do that.
thank you so much, Greg. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you. I've really enjoyed talking to
Pleasure.
you and chucking a few probably weirder questions at you this time than I did before. Like I say, I always think
Love
it
it.
a bit more personality, just something different. It's not the same interview as everyone else's then. So thank you.
Exactly. That's what I like to do. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
And thank you to everybody out there for watching. I have been Caz Parker from MMH Radio. So without what we will say though, we will leave them on this note. We started the interview talking about the tour. So don't forget, Kickstart the Sun tour, dates all over the country, starting in September in Stockport and going right the way through to December to Swansea. Just looking at my notes. There you
Yeah,
go.
there you are.
All over the socials. I mean, literally, they can't miss it if they go on the socials. And you heard it here, people.
Exactly.
It's going to be a little bit special, and a lot special, in fact. So don't miss it. Don't be sat at home and thinking all the good stuff happens to other people. You've kept it affordable for people. It's in theatres. It's going to be comfy. It's going to be an amazing
They'll
show. There
love
is
it.
literally no reason for them not to do it. So if they head
They'll
to
love it.
catsinspace.co.uk, that's where you can buy your
Yeah,
ticket.
go Captain Space Co UK/events. That will take you straight to all the gig ticket links. But
There you go.
and don't forget, we've just added a London date on December the 13th at the London Islington Assembly Hall,
Islington Assembly.
which is a real flagship gig. So
Mm.
that's just been confirmed. And if people are skeptical, don't be. This show rocks. Trust me, it rocks. It's not just a theatre show per se. It's a rock show in a theatre.
Marvellous. And on that note, go and buy your tickets. Don't delay. Just go and do it now. And it's a goodbye from me, and it's a goodbye from him, Greg. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Caz. Always a pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah.